Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and family. Thank you once again for joining the Abundant Way Ministries Tuesday evening empowerment series. I am excited and I am elated. I am delighted to be able to share with you today. How about you?
Yes, this has been, sorry, I'm trying to make sure everything is live and working. This has been a phenomenal financial literacy month.
Yes.
Month of April is financial literacy, and we have had some powerful sessions. Last week was off the chain with none other than Clyde Anderson. Gave us some great insights.
Shout out to Clyde Anderson. Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Yes.
On last week. The view count is steadily rising. While we're talking about Clyde Anderson, guys, don't forget to go out and check out his books. He's got Where Is My Change? Where's My Change? Which is his most recent book. And his first book was What Had Happened Was. And he wrote this back in 2006, 2007, long before Jamie Foxx did his special. And then he's got another one where he's talking about the fundamentals of wealth. And he hit those points last week. And if you missed them, go back and check out the recording.
Yes.
They were awesome.
Because wealth actually is an acronym for, let me see if I can remember. Wisdom.
That's right.
What's E?
It has something to do with where you are.
Environment?
Something like that.
Okay. A stood for assets. L was leverage. T was the.
Right.
And H was, what was H? Health? No. Hope.
You made me forget now.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, go back and watch it.
Go back and watch the video.
Because it's in there.
All right, cool. And okay, so for those of you who are joining us, thank you for joining. I see your count. I see your I can't see your names right now. So give us a shout out. Let us know you're on.
Yes,
but
please.
I see the count going up on our screen.
Yes.
We're getting ready to go into some deep stuff today, the stuff that you've all been waiting for. And that is how to increase your income. Before we get into that, let's just recap what we've talked about so far. When we started off, good evening, Sister Pell. When we started off the beginning of the month, I believe it was April Fool's Day, Tuesday, April 1st, we started off talking about vision and purpose. Yes. When it comes to your finances. You've got to have vision and purpose for your family when it comes to finances. You cannot just play this by ear, right? Which so many of us does. We just wing it. So many of us do. We just wing it. Wrong. You cannot wing it when it comes to finances, especially when you have a family. And then on the second week, we talked about we talked about count up the cost. Count up the cost. I was getting ready to go back to March.
Yeah.
We're talking about counting up the cost. Wow, what an eye opener.
Oh yeah.
Because we looked at we itemized the monthly expenses that the average 4-member household would have in the city of Atlanta. And we learned that it's somewhere around $7,000 a month, give or take, depending on your lifestyle, depending on what level you are operating on. But the average cost of living in the city of Atlanta in 2025 for a family of 4 is around $7,000. Why is that important? Because it helps you to plan better. It helps you to do career planning better, because so many of us just jumped out in the world and started adulting and learned that life already had a number, but the job that you got didn't meet that number.
Right.
And if you only took a step back and did what Jesus said in I believe it was Luke chapter 18, if I'm not mistaken, whoever is setting out to build something, build a building, build a tower, wouldn't first sit down and count up the cost. He said first. How many of us would be in a better place if we had just taken a step back and first understood what the cost of living was before we took our first job?
Oh yeah. I think a lot of people was, because we have to, going back, and I know for me and I know for my family and family members, it's because we didn't have that type of training. We didn't have the environment we grew up in was all about survival, right? So we didn't have these perspectives, and we didn't have these tools and these tips and tricks that we have today. So I'm sure a lot of us just got out of school, whether we went to college or not, and just started living or trying to live. And
part of it is we did what we saw.
Right.
We did what we saw our parents do. We did what we saw our aunties and uncles did. We did what we saw our grandparents did and do. And we got out there without enough information.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do with this Bible study / empowerment series / podcast, whatever you want to call it. What we're trying to do is give you guys enough information, arm you guys with enough information that you might make better decisions. Right. And if that were you who got out there not knowing what the cost of living was and found yourself in a hole, you're not alone. We've done it. But like I said before, when you know better, you do better. Right. There's another book that I want you guys to take a note of. And I hope, again, those of you who are joining, when we first started this series, bring your notebook. There's another book I want you to take note of. Write it down. It's called The Worst Financial Mistakes in the Bible. The Worst Financial Mistakes in the Bible. That's a good one. Today, ladies and gentlemen, so we talked about counting up the cost, and we felt the frustration. Hey, Robin, I bet you Wesley is with you too. Hey, Wesley, if you're there.
Who's that by?
That is by Chuck Bentley. That's by Chuck Bentley. The Worst Financial Mistakes in the Bible. Because the Bible knew that we were going to make some mistakes, right? Again, you're not in this by yourself. And I need to turn my phone off. So what we're going to talk about today, because many of you begin to feel the frustration behind the frustration of being behind financially, right? So you found yourself on the other end of that equation of counting up the cost. Didn't count up the cost, found out that it actually costs more to live than the money you were making, right? And that creates frustration. It creates frustration if you're by yourself. And it creates even more frustration if you're with someone. So money has for the longest time been the number one cause of divorce in America, financial problems, right? So that frustration is there. Watch this. And we started talking about budgets a little bit, right? And I said, well, we're going to mature past that word. It's a legitimate financial term and a financial strategy, but I want us to start thinking differently. You know, what we're doing is still budgeting, but I want us to think of it differently because it's going to help you do things a little better. But what we're trying to do now is address that frustration. What I've discovered is that most people, many people, really don't have a budgeting problem. Mm-hmm. It's not that you don't know how to manage your finances, because we talked about stewardship. Mm-hmm. The problem is you don't have enough finances to manage.
That's good.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it again. It's not that you don't know how to manage your money. The problem is that you don't have enough money to manage. And that's where the frustration comes in. So today's session is all about increasing your income, mm-hmm. so that we can eliminate that frustration. I'm going to introduce one more book to you. Write this one down. And this is the best one. So I really want you to go out and get this one. This used to sit on the top of my shelf. I took it down just for y'all. This book is called The 1 Minute Millionaire. The 1 Minute Millionaire. Let me put that up there real close. The 1 Minute Millionaire. That book is by Mark Victor Hansen and Robert G. Allen. Mark Victor Hansen is the guy who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. And Robert G. Allen is he's the author of Nothing Down and Creating Wealth. So he's coming from a practical, technical perspective as it relates to money and finances, and Mark Victor Hansen is coming from a more creative version. So they wrote the book together. And what's unique about the book is each of them wrote on the opposite side of the page. So let's say Mark Victor Hansen wrote on this side, which is in purple, and Robert G. Allen wrote on the other side. So Mark V. Hansen is actually telling a story. It's a fictional story. And then Robert G. Allen is backing it up with the facts of what that really means, mm-hmm. and how that translates into our practical life. An awesome book. I'll just give you a little hint. It's about a lady who was getting ready to lose her child to her in-laws in a custody battle. And it took her coming down to a point where she got to the point where she was fighting for something, and she had to fight for this thing, which was her child, as hard as she wanted to, as hard as you would fight if you wanted to live. Mm-hmm. You got to fight for some things as bad as you want to breathe. Mm-hmm. And she had to raise this money in a short period of time with no skills. And but here's the thing: when you have the right motivation, mm-hmm. you'll be able to do things that you couldn't even imagine. Mm-hmm. Excellent book. Excellent book. Get that book. All right. Here we go. Who else is on the line? Somebody give me a shout out, because we're going to get into this thing, and I want everybody and anybody who is really going to benefit from this session. I need you on board today. Mm-hmm. I need you on board today. All right. You ain't on board today, catch the recording. All right, we're talking about money today. We're talking about how to increase that income. Mm. All right. I'm gonna ask you guys for your ideas on how you can increase your income. So think about your own personal life and think about your shortfall. Like if you're working and you feel frustrated because regardless of how much you make, it's still not enough. Mm. If you can kind of think of how much you would need to fill that gap, I want you to think about that for a minute. And as you're thinking about that, I want you to come up with some things in your mind on how you could close the gap. Like, what could you do to close the gap between the cost of living and how much you make? Right? So you got to have an idea of what the cost of living is in your world, because we also did that for Erica in Maryville, Indiana. We just asked ChatGPT, do the same thing, but do it in Maryville, Indiana. And in 2 seconds, it spit it out.
Yeah.
Right? So whatever the cost of living is for you, and whatever your shortfall is, what could you do to make up the difference? All right. So while you're thinking about that, I want to shoot some scripture to you. We're gonna give them Bible on this one. We're gonna give them Bible on this one. All right. Notice I said, what could you do? Right? Because a lot of times people think, I'm gonna just ask my mama. Right? That's the solution. Yeah. Right? Or I'm gonna just get it from my daddy. Right? But Proverbs chapter 10, verse 4, what does that say?
NIV version says, lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth.
Right. And so what they're saying is hard work and consistency, that's what diligent means, are key to building income. All right. Point number 1.
Can't be lazy.
You can't be lazy. Can't be lazy. Can't be lazy. You have to be willing to work. I know a lot of people are promoting get rich quick schemes on social media. I mean, they're everywhere. They're on Facebook, they're on YouTube, they're on Instagram. Anytime you hear this phrase, all you have to do, all you have to do is, sometimes it's too good to be true. Sometimes if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. All you have to do. But that doesn't necessarily mean that what you have to do will be hard. What it does mean is that you do have to do something.
Yeah.
Right? We live in a technological age, the age of technology. This is the information age. And so work in the technological age, or the technology age, is a lot less laborious, strenuous than it was in the industrial age. Right? In the industrial age, which is not long ago, right? That was my father's and them generation working in the factories, General Motors, Ford, Chrysler, LTV Steel, those factories where men and women had to do manual labor, and it was hard, right? And if you wanted more money, you had to work longer hours. And if that wasn't enough, you had to get a second job, which was often also hard. Today, we don't live in that age. And so while you still have to work, it doesn't necessarily have to be physically taxing, right? What you do have to work is your brain. Right. My mother used to always encourage me and say, Robert, you can do whatever you put your mind to. Now, that was an encouraging statement, meaning whatever you set your mind to do, whatever you think about, you can do it. I get that. I'm going to put a spin on it and put the emphasis on whatever you put your mind to. Because so many of us have not embraced the technology age. And so when we're thinking about what could we do differently, or what could we do to close the gap between our income and the cost of living, the first thing we think about is going out and doing something physical, going out and getting a second job, going out and doing something that requires me to leave the house, spend time somewhere else, working my body to come back home, tired, burnt out, beat up, to go to my first job in the morning, work hard there, get off work, go to the second job, get beat up there, come back home and do it all over again. You're going to get old quick. You're going to get old real quick doing that. But if you find something that really just employs your mind, you know what I'm saying? Or you just put your mind to something creative that will generate income, it still work on your behalf, but it's just not coming out of your body, right? Because here's the thing. Remember we said in an earlier session, it would be no fun to work as hard as we work to make more money, but then be too sick and tired to enjoy it. Right. So we gotta try it a different way. And I don't want to go too far too soon. I want to see what you guys have come up with. I hope y'all on. I hope y'all listening. Somebody put in the chat what the type of things that come to your mind that you can do to close your deficit, to reduce your deficit. All right. What's the next one? Proverbs chapter 22.
In
verse 29.
NKJV
That's
version.
The New King James version. All right.
Do you see a man who excels in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before unknown men.
All right. Read that again.
Do you see a man who excels in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before unknown men.
All right. Good one. I love that one. There's Denise. Hey, Denise. She said, get my real estate license for real this time, right?
Awesome, Denise.
That's a good one. That's a good one. And we're going to talk about that one. Proverbs 22, verse 29. Do you see a man who excels at his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before unknown men. What that is saying is that whatever you do it well. I always tell people, especially my children, whatever you do, be the best at it. At least try to be the best at it. Right? Whatever it is you do, be the best at it. Why? Because that's what increases your value. All right. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. I almost gave you the secret. I almost gave you the secret to increasing your income. We're going to get to it. Okay. Here's the note on that. Excellence and skill opens doors to higher income and greater opportunity. Okay. Here's the thing. I need for you all to stop being mediocre. All right. Stop playing C average. Don't treat yourself like that. Don't think of yourself like that. Don't be that person who only does just enough to get by. Whatever it is, there it is. There it is, Sister Pelt. Sister Pelt said, my grandfather taught me, whatever your task, do your best. He was right on point. Whatever you do, be the best at it. Right? There's a scripture in the Bible that talks about that. And I know Martin Luther King preached a sermon where he talked about if you're going to be a street sweeper, be the best street sweeper there is. Right? Because the world values your level of skill. Right? So we talked about in another session, if you were the type of person who always shunned or shied away from doing the extra credit in school, okay, I'm going to need you to change that character right now. In order for you to increase your income, I'm going to go ahead and say it now. In order for you to increase your income, ladies and gentlemen, you have to increase your value. It's not about the number of hours that you work, right? You can work 24 hours a day, but if you don't increase your value, it will not increase your income, right? Because you really don't get paid for your time, right? So when we hear, oh, I make X amount of dollars an hour, don't let that statement fool you, because that's not where your value lies. Not your value does not lie in how many hours you spend at a particular job. Mm-hmm. Your value is what determines your income. Mm-hmm. Yep. Your value determines your income. You can have two people who work for the same company. One person, let's say this person works in the mailroom. Nothing against a person who works in the mailroom. Mm-hmm. He works for company ABC. Let's call it Microsoft. You got another person. He's the CEO of Microsoft. Mm-hmm. They both work for the same company. They both work 8 hours a day. One person may make $40,000, the janitor. Mm-hmm. The CEO may make $40 million. Same company, same number of hours, different value. Mm-hmm. Microsoft values the CEO more than it values the janitor. Not the person, mm-hmm. but the skill level that they're bringing mm-hmm. to the table. The skill level of the janitor is not what's taken Microsoft to $100 billion in sales, but it's the skill level that the CEO is doing to lead the company to $100 million in sales. So they're going to pay the CEO differently than they pay the janitor, mm-hmm. even though they work the same number of hours. Your income is not based on your time. It's based on your value. Mm-hmm. So in addition to whatever you do, be the best at it. So I would even encourage the janitor, while you are the janitor, be the best janitor that company has ever seen, because you'd be surprised what doors that will open. Not because you were the janitor, but because you were the best janitor and you had some characteristics and qualities that opened those doors. But the other side of that is you've got to develop skills. You've got to develop a skill set that is more valuable than the skill set that you're frustrated with right now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The skill set that is frustrating your income, that is retarding your income, you've got to say, okay, here's where I am now. And here's a side note. Whatever it is, always be appreciative first, right? Yeah. So God first honors your gratitude, regardless of where you are, be appreciative. But at the same time, recognizing that you need to get to another level, you're going to have to develop another skill set. Mm-hmm. Definition of insanity: doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That's not going to happen. If you want a different result in your income, you're going to have to do something different. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes that means improving or changing your skill set. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Should I move on? Anything else I need to say there? There's so much. There really is so much I really want to say there. But I will emphasize this. And when we talk about value, we're not talking about your value as a individual, like the value you bring to your family or your church or your community. Mm-hmm. I believe all of you are valuable in those respects. We're specifically talking about your value to the marketplace. Mm-hmm. Some of y'all need to treat yourselves as a business. You need to understand that there's another side to you, right? And that is the business side. You've got to look at yourself as a business and say, if I was a business, how valuable is my business? Mm-hmm. So that's what we mean by value. What do you bring to the marketplace? What are you bringing to the table? If what you do is something anybody can do, then it's going to be less valuable than if you were doing something that very few people can do, right? And so what that means then is now you got to go out and do the extra credit. Yeah. So you got to, while you're working the one job, instead of running off to go work another job, why don't you use that time to put yourself in a program, in a class, go to the workshop, go to the boot camp, mm-hmm. go to the seminar, read the book. You see what I'm saying? Start reading up on whatever it is you think you want to do and that you have intention on being very good at it. Educate yourself on that thing. Start consuming all the knowledge that you can on that. So when we talked about the other week, I don't spend a whole lot of time just scrolling on social media. I'm on there, but most times I'm always looking at something that has something to do with taking us to the next level. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at the financial people. I'm listening to in my field of work, which are two things, is real estate and technology. I'm listening to the real estate experts. I'm learning new technical skills, right? And when you see me on there, it's doing those things. Every now and then I stop on something stupid because it's funny, and some of that stuff you can't help but to laugh. And be careful because you'll get stuck. Next thing you know, you whole hour that went by and you laughing. Oh my goodness. But for the most part, when I'm on social media, I'm feeding my brain. Mm-hmm. I'm in self-improvement mode. And so the beauty of social media, the beauty of internet technology is that it's so readily available. Before this, I would have to get up and go to the library. You don't have to do that anymore. Right. All you have to do is decide what it is you want to do and then start searching for it. You can go to YouTube University. Everybody goes to YouTube University. And next thing you know, they're experts at whatever they done learned on YouTube University. But what I'm saying to you is this, whatever it is, and I want you guys to think about what it is that you're passionate about. What is it that you love? What is it that you would actually do for no money at all? Right? What is it that you love so much that you would actually do it for someone else for no money at all because you love it and you're good at it? You need to start increasing your knowledge, educating yourself on that thing to the point where you can turn that into an income. Mm-hmm.
And to expound on that, it's never too late to upgrade your skill set.
Never too late.
Learn something new. I completed my bachelor's, and I did it online, but I completed my bachelor's a year or two, about 2 years after I moved down here. Mm-hmm. And I was in my 40s mm-hmm. then.
Yeah, you had an associate's.
I had an associate's, and I was like, okay, let me go ahead and get my bachelor's. And when I got my bachelor's, it's like God's like, okay, you got this, so now I can take you to the next level. Mm-hmm. And I mean, doors was opening,
just swinging
opening as soon as I got that piece of paper. It didn't change the skill set that I had,
right?
But it increased my value,
right?
It increased my value. So I was able to expand and go further up in the realm or in that market that right. I was in,
which was property management. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you're working for the big property management companies, and you started to run against another roadblock mm-hmm. as you were interviewing, which was what?
What?
you start seeing in the job description they wanted real estate license.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
And so guess what? She had to start she had to take the real estate classes, Denise. God. She had to, and it wasn't easy.
It was not easy. I did that online as well.
Did it online?
And man, I tell you that real estate, please, if somebody say, oh, that's the easiest class you can take, oh, that's the easiest test you can take, they lying. They are not telling the truth. But because I was so determined to increase my value, that I was like, okay, I'm going to do this because not only is it required in the job market, but I can also this is going to help me outside the job market. It's going to help me to build something outside. So here it is. That's my gap.
Right.
That's what I needed to do to fill my gap.
Right. So
my income.
So check this out. Number one, she took that associate's to a bachelor's. You gotta do it, guys. You gotta make sure you have the credentials, right? I don't care how good you are, but in certain industries, in certain areas, you need to be able to back that up with some credentials. So, and I was like, well, you done come this far, why not go the rest of the way?
Right.
Might as well, right?
Might as well.
And then once
I didn't have anything to lose.
Look, I'm the biggest cheerleader pushing people in the background, like, okay, now you need to go ahead and get them licensed.
Yeah.
And it was a struggle, but she persevered and pushed through it. And like she said, not only did those licenses help her to get the jobs who were requiring her to have a license, but now, and we're going to talk about this in terms of increasing the income. Now, it allowed us to open up the property management company. Because watch this, even when she started getting the jobs, the company would go through something and then she would get laid off or something like that. And I said, you know what? Now we need to set up your property management company so that the next time they say we need to let you go, you can say, okay, because bye. Great.
Yeah. Thank you.
And guess what? That's where we are now. With those real estate license, she's also able to make money outside of the job. Watch this. And it don't cost her a whole lot of physical labor, right? Make money two ways, running her own property management company and being able to sell houses, right? So, boom, talking about extra income. I just gave you one prime example, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's move forward because it's 8:09. Watch this. And that's a great lead in because the next topic is multiple streams of income.
Yep.
Multiple streams of income. Get them girls on this call.
Yeah.
We got the girls texting and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 2. I think Erica may have misquoted that scripture last week. I think she said 11, verse 12. And I believe Denise got it right. Verse 2. This is the one that says, invest in 7 ventures. Yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. That's in the Bible.
In the Bible.
The Bible says in Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 2, you need multiple streams of income. All right. Again, this is not for the mediocre. This is not for those of you who are not ready to do extra credit. Multiple streams of income means that once you have your job, it doesn't stop there, right? Your job is not your salvation. Because again, you got to go all the way back to the Vision and Purpose series to understand, will this one job achieve my lifelong goals? Understanding that my life does not stop with my job, right? Most of us don't want to work forever. We want to be able to enjoy life without having to get up and go punch the clock. So will this one job allow me to do that when I no longer want to get up out of my bed and go to punch somebody's clock? Chances are the answer is no. So the Bible says in Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 2, invest in 7 ventures. Yes, even 8. Because you do not know what disaster may come upon the land. All right? You never know what life may bring. And if you only have one income, you're going to find yourself in trouble. Right? So some people think we work too hard. Every time we look at y'all up in that office doing something, right on that board. Yep, this is my board. And on that board, there's about 5 streams of income on that board at all times. Why? Because I know that her job can let her go. My job can let me go. But I guarantee you this, it ain't going to stop me from living.
No. Because
my life is not dependent on a job.
Right.
And so you got to put yourself in a position where you know how to make money outside of a job. Right? That's almost like your reasonable services to your family. You got to be able to say, you know what? If I got laid off today, that doesn't stop my responsibility to my family. So I got to be able to know how to make money, period. I thank God for my job. I'm appreciative of it every day. But guess what? I do know that that is not promised. Anything can happen. The job could go out of business. The job can go bankrupt. Yep. Right? And if I put all my eggs in that one basket, where would we be? Right? So for all of you extra credit people, I need for you to think about your 7 streams of income. Yes, even 8. And I love that, because what that means is the general idea is multiple streams.
It's no limit.
Yeah, ain't no limit. Don't just get 7 and said, I did what the Bible said. That's why he said even 8. He mean get at least 7, 8, 9, 10. He could have kept going if he wanted to. He's trying to get you in a mindset that says you never want to get caught with just one stream of income, one way to make money, right? Just look at the economy, right? In the economy, certain industries are doing well at a certain period of time, and then that industry will get hit and tank. And if you are an investor and you're only invested in that one industry, when that industry is tanking, then you're done. But if you diversify and you're invested in, let's say, energy, and you're invested in oil, and you're invested in technology, and you're invested in commodities, then when one goes down, it doesn't take the whole ship down with it, right? The same is true with your income. If you lose one job, okay, you still got other monies coming in from different places. Invest in 7 ventures. Yes, even 8.
This was brought up last week when we had Clyde on, and I think it was my cousin Dee that asked, what are the 7 streams of income? And it's no set of income streams. It's no set. It's whatever you want to do, whatever you think that will bring you income or bring you that residual income without you going out to get it.
Right.
This is 7 streams of income, is income that's coming to you in your sleep. You're not working. You're not doing the physical labor. It's working on your behalf.
Right.
So whether it be investing in stocks, in real estate, whatever it is, it's the attitude or the mindset that whatever this stream of income is, it is working for me on my behalf. I am not doing the physical work to get it.
All right, here we go. That's going to be the launch into this last piece here. I know y'all can't see this paper, but I got some notes for y'all. This says practical income generating ideas. Only Denise wrote in one idea was real estate. I was looking for the rest of y'all to come in there, but watch this. Practical income generating ideas. I broke it down. This one is for employees who need additional income. We got another one for entrepreneurs and business owners, how you can generate additional income. We got another one For those of you who are in retirement or near retirement, we got ways for you to generate income. I don't care if you're a man or a woman, if you're young or old, there are ways for you to generate additional income. Y'all ready? We got 12 minutes. All right, here we go. We're gonna do
practical.
We're gonna do practical income generating ideas for employees. So this is for those of us who have jobs, right? And so now we know that we should never just have a job and a job alone, right? Number one, freelance work or gig, what they call gig economy. What is that? Writing, graphic design, tutoring, delivering or delivery driving, like Uber, Lyft. DoorDash, Lyft, virtual assistant. Virtual assistant is something that you can do in the privacy of your own home. Mm-hmm. You don't even have to get up and get out of your house. You can use platforms like Fiverr. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's a platform where you can post whatever it is you do, whatever skill you have, and people will connect with you and ask you to do that for them. Mm-hmm. Fiverr is spelled Fiverr, Fiverr. Upwork, TaskRabbit, DoorDash. All right. Number two, remote part-time jobs like customer service jobs, data entry jobs, social media moderation. I mean, I'm telling you, a lot of these things are things that you can do if you have a computer. Mm-hmm. If you're online right now watching me, then chances are you have a computer or at least a cell phone. Mm-hmm. I would advise everyone to get you a nice little laptop. If you don't have anything at all, get a laptop. If you don't ask for nothing else for Christmas, get a laptop. Mm-hmm. Because social media, for many of you, might be your number one source of additional income. Number three, monetize a skill or passion. Ooh, I can't talk about that one enough. You need to take what it is you love. Yeah. What is your passion? Something, like I said before, something that you would do for no money at all. Use that to make money. Use that as your provision. It could be teaching music lessons, selling baked goods. Nelly Boo, when we gonna get that zucchini pie going? She makes an awesome zucchini pie. I've been trying. I said we ought to make a business out of that.
Oh my gosh.
Offer makeup and hair services. Where's Rita? Is Rita on this call?
She's not on the call.
She ain't on the call?
No.
Just when you need them.
Rita,
makeup and hair services. Car detailing. Mm-hmm. Photography. I know people who detail cars. Yeah. I know people riding around with them buckets on their car doing car washing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Whatever you creative enough to do. Photography. So, Miss Sister Pelt. Yeah. You and Aisha and my daughter got them cameras, boy.
Yeah. There you go.
And then you promote yourself via social media and word of mouth. Number four, start a weekend business. All right. Mobile car wash, lawn care. Young guys out there who ain't got nothing to do, sitting at home watching TV on the couch, get a lawnmower and do lawn care. Hey, Robin, now you're on YouTube. See, Sister Phil said photography. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. Robin, you doing massages. Massage therapy. Okay. Cleaning services, handyman work, requires minimal upfront investment and can be scaled. Watch, these are things that you probably are already doing, right? Most of this stuff, if this is something that you love to do, you're probably doing it already. Now all you have to do is turn it into income. Yeah. Number five, sell online. You can resell items on eBay. These are items that are in your house that you know been sitting in that box, and shoes you've been sitting about.
Don't look at me.
You ain't even took the price tag off them clothes. Put them on eBay, Poshmark, Facebook Marketplace, Amazon. Declutter your house and make some money. All right, there you go. Now, here we go. This is for the entrepreneurs and business owners. How do you increase your income? Number one, Raise your prices. Wow. Didn't have what? You mean to tell me I didn't have to pick up no shovel, no weights, no build a new building? No. Raise your prices. Now, here's the trick with raising the prices, just like increasing your own personal income. The number one thing it said to do in order to raise your prices is to add more value. Don't just go increasing prices and don't give the people nothing, right? You got to add more value so that you can raise your prices. You can offer bundle deals and you can upgrade your service tiers, right? So this is business techniques on how you can reorganize things to increase your income. Number 2, digital products or courses. Sell what you know. Oh my goodness. Wow. Sell what you know. Ebooks, templates, outline workshops, online workshops, consulting. This is great for realtors, designers, financial coaches, and ministers. How come we got 2 things in that?
Wow.
Right. Sell what you know.
Okay.
Ooh. Number 3, affiliate marketing or referral programs. Okay. I'm starting to deal with a couple companies on this affiliate program concept now, as a matter of fact. So what this means is that you can earn commissions by referring someone else's products, right? So for example, I'm looking at 2 companies for the real estate and IT combo. And these 2 companies could be competitors of mine, but I'm looking at it in terms of maybe I can make them partners instead of competition, because they're already doing what I want to do. And I could immediately start making money with them by referring their product. And some people are already doing it and making 6 figures just on their affiliate program, right? So you can earn commissions by recommending products and services that you use and trust. Just recommending. How much work does that take? None, right? Subscription models turn a service into a membership. This is for the business owners. Again, whatever service you provide, how can you make it a subscription model? Like people would pay for it on a monthly basis. That's excellent, because a lot of times when you get on those subscriptions as a customer, you forget that you're on a subscription, but that money keep coming out. And if it's small enough, you say, don't worry about it, right? If you get 1,000 people doing that, guess what? You just increased your income by the factor of 1,000. All right. Who is that good for? Bible study groups, wellness coaching, exclusive real estate or business tips. You know who's also doing subscription models? Like hammer and nails. What do you call them? Salons. Personal care salons. Yeah. So now you go to, so there's
memberships.
There's a salon, and that's a subscription, right? So you go to a salon, this male salon called Hammer Nails, where they groom you, cut your hair, do your nails, you sit there and feel important. But you're paying on a monthly basis,
right? A certain package,
you got a package
you choose.
That's a subscription model. So you just figure out a different way to package your product or your service. Number 5, government or corporate contracts. That's something that we're working on. With any business that you do, you should register with sam.gov, right? To register as a government contractor, because the government pays for everything. The government does not actually do anything for itself. So it has to go to small businesses like you and I to get those services or products, right? So, Sister Pelt, if you have your photography business set up, go ahead and register your business on sam.gov, because the government needs your services. They need you to come take pictures for them. And when they sign a contract, it's generally a big contract. You can definitely make a lot of money on that. And that's with anything. That's with real estate. That's with IT. That's with photography. That's with film and video. Robin, probably even with massages.
You never know.
They got barbers, government contracts, people with wigs, government contract, anything you can think of, the government buys it. Number 6, last but not least, on ways to increase income for entrepreneurs and business owners. Leverage real estate. All right. What does that mean? Rental income. So you've got to invest. There's no other road to wealth but through investing. Just like Jesus said, there's only one way to the Father, and that's through me.
Yep.
There's only one way to wealth. I'm talking about not riches. I'm talking about wealth. That is through investing, right? She said, during this administration.
She said exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, I don't think we can do government contracts right now.
Don't let that discourage you. Don't let it discourage you. Yep, we got a bad administration right now, but he will not change the world. He will not change the world. That will not change. And while he's stealing funds from folks right now, the government still has to buy what they have to buy, right? What they're doing is they're making it so that minorities don't get the preference, the preferential treatment that we enjoy, at least up until yesterday, which means that, like, if you are a woman-owned business, woman-owned small business, minority-owned small business, a veteran-owned business, those classifications kind of put you at the front line. So larger companies, if they wanted to get a large contract, they may have to do business, bring you in on that contract because you're a woman, because you're minority, because you are a disadvantaged business. Well, what Trump and them are trying to do is say, nah, we don't want nobody to have no special treatment. What that does, though, is take us back to what I said in the very beginning: just be the best, because they will hire the best, right? As long as you can compete, and you good at your stuff, they got to give you a look, right? Last one. What is this? Oh, talked about rental income, get real estate, house hacking, renting out a portion of your home. I'm not doing that. I got a buddy who's trying to do that. I'm not renting my home out and still living in it if I don't have to. Not unless it's like a duplex or something like that.
Right.
No, I ain't staying upstairs and you staying downstairs. Nah. Anyway, wholesaling and flipping properties, we've done that, and we still do it. We do have rental income property. And even in retirement, watch this. Real estate can generate passive income and equity growth. So yes, you want to be able to flip some houses to get immediate cash, and you also want to hold some houses for the cash flow on a long-term basis, so that when you retire, you still got money coming in on a monthly basis. Right. All right, here's the last one. Don't go nowhere. This is for those of you, move your hand. Those of you who are in retirement or near retirement. Here we go. Ready? Consulting or mentorship. Did you know that you could make money just being somebody's mentor? We paying Bruce Mills right now. Mentorship.
Yeah. Okay.
Consulting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he don't call it mentorship. It's consulting.
Yeah.
Right. But what is it? I value his years of experience in his area of expertise. Right. And so in order for me to take my business to where I've seen him take his, I'm going to pay him to consult with me in order to get there. Right. He's mid-70s, and guess what? I'm not his only client. This is what he does, right? And he ain't got to come here to see me. I don't have to get up and go to see him in Memphis. Right. It's right on the phone. It's online. You don't have to leave the comfort of your own home. Watch this. Share decades of wisdom in your field. Businesses will pay for your experience. They don't even need you to come and be their employee. We got a lot of people at GE who done retired and came back as consultants. Happens all the time. Oh my goodness, yeah. Sister Pell, I remember where you worked. I believe it was the federal government, Federal Reserve, if I'm not mistaken. Wouldn't they love to have your wisdom? Just to come in and consult with them maybe once a month. Yeah. Boom. There you go. I gave you 2, Sister Pell. Photography, consulting. Real estate.
Mm-hmm.
3. All right. Downsize and reinvest. Consider leveraging home equity or selling unneeded assets to invest in income producing assets. Sell some stuff that you don't need and buy some stuff that makes you money. Asset is anything that put, GSA. I wish I had known you when I was going after the government contracts. I mean, I wish
she was working then
because I'm going after them now, right? I need to be consulting with you. I need to be paying you because, and I'm gonna have to call you because I am struggling with that. I'm trying to get these government contracts, and I need some directions. Anyway, number 3, and this is the last one: dividend paying stocks. Okay, this is for those who are into investing, which everyone should be at some point. You may not be there now, but this ought to be a part of your income portfolio. Remember, we're not putting all our eggs in one basket. So your job is one source of income. Your side hustle is another source of income, whether you be an entrepreneur or you turn your side hustle into a full-fledged business, right, which is the goal. That's a source of income, but should not be your only source of income. Investing in real estate should be a part of your portfolio, and investing in the stock market should be a part of your portfolio. Do not just choose one over the other. Educate yourself in both. Why? Because there are going to be some years when real estate is up and the stock market is down. And then there's going to be some years when the stock market is up and the real estate is down. Right? And so we've got to become versed in both. Why? Because actually real estate and investing in real estate and investing in the stock market, those are going to be your key wealth path, right? Because it's ways to generate massive amount of money and income with the minimum amount of work. When I'm talking about work, I'm talking about physical work, right? So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The bottom line at the end of the day, if your goal is to build generational wealth, meaning not only income for yourself right now, but a foundation of income that's going to last long beyond your life. That's what we call generational wealth. The Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. That not only means the generation right behind you, but again, looking at the general spirit of the term, it means that a good man is laying the foundation for generations that he will never see, right? Great grandchildren, right? Don't take it so literal. Is Donald on the line? Don't take that so literal, like your only responsibility is to your grandchild. No, that's not what it's saying. It's saying you just need to think in terms of generational wealth. Why? Because that's how God thinks. If God was thinking literally, he would have stopped at Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But no, he sent Jesus so that we can benefit from everything that he's doing. And here we are, thousands and thousands of years later, still benefiting from what God did. And we've got to take that same mindset when it comes to our families. We got to be in a generational wealth building mindset. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 8:35. Woo!
Yeah.
Sister Pelt, we got to talk. I see you. I don't know why I thought you were with the Federal Reserve, but GSA, I'm telling you, I'm running up against GSA every time I go after a government contract. And you used to work for the GSA. Didn't even know it. Wow. See? You're going to be the next person I pay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that's that. Ladies and gentlemen, did you have anything?
No.
Before we go, I really hate to keep y'all past 8:30. We did it last week.
Oh yeah, we were.
But it was just so. It was
worth it.
Yeah, it was worth it. And hopefully today was worth it as well. Because what I really hope is that you guys have seen that no matter how old or how young you are, no matter whether it doesn't matter what race you are, black, white, or other, doesn't matter whether you're male or female, wherever you are in life, you can begin to generate additional income, right? As long as you got a mind, a brain, right? Because I even know of people who are physically handicapped. I'm talking about a man with no arms and no legs generating more money than we have.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name, but you all have seen him on TV. He's been on Oprah. He's been on, remember when Oprah was doing that one thing? She was doing it on stage. I can't think of the name of that show. She did a little platform on a stage. Like,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like some kind of wisdom Wednesday or something like. I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, he came on that show. He literally has to bounce himself to wherever he's going. Has no arms, legs, but that dude is making money, right? So we have no excuse. No excuse, really don't. Right? Please get off the couch. Please turn that TV off. Right? Come get out the drive-through. You got to use that time wisely. Time is your most valuable asset.
Yes.
That's the only thing you ain't gonna never get. You ain't gonna get no more of that. You can make more money, but you can't get more time.
I'm telling you can. It's and the way you make more money is that, for one, you want to make more money.
You gotta want it.
You gotta want it. It's the mindset of wanting it, and you gotta be passionate about it.
Yeah.
It's not gonna come to you. You gotta go for it. And like you said, it's not a lot of hard work. Oh, she said, not Nick
Vujisi. Is that his last name? I know it was a hard last name to pronounce. Nick is his name. I think you put Nike. Yeah, but it's Nick. I remember that Nick part. Yes, that's him. But that guy, he's sharing his story, which means he's got to make himself vulnerable and transparent, while people are looking at him and like, he's putting it out there. Yeah, he's a motivational speaker. That is another source of income there. When you take your when you take your experiences and you use them to help other people, you're adding value to their lives. Your income is based on the value you bring to the marketplace and the value that you bring to others, right? And I'm talking about true value. True value. The more value you bring, the more money you'll make. That's my word.
That's the word.
That's the word. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, listen, we are traveling next week. We are going to a real estate boot camp. Remember what I said, whatever it is you do, you have to continuously educate yourself, continue to sharpen your saw. I've been in real estate for 24 years and I'm still going to boot camps and still going to the seminars, still buying the books, still, watching the videos. I'll never stop because this is one thing that I love to do. I used to say to people all the time, I'll never stop doing real estate. I'll probably be doing this to the grave, right? I may look different, but I ain't gonna never stop. I may be doing it differently. I may be doing real estate a totally different way than the way we're doing it today. But I love what I do because it gives me the joy of interacting with different people in different ways, and it makes money. Yeah. But anyway, we will be traveling. What the heck? Who was Bertha Doula? Also a birth doula. Oh, a birth doula. You know what that is?
No.
It's like a midwife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. A birth doula.
Okay.
Yes, Sister Pelt. Still taking photography classes. Absolutely. And you know what? Some people think about going back to school or taking another class as a burden.
Yeah, it's not.
When it's something that you love to do, you look forward to the next class. Like, ooh, and plus you meet new people there who's also interested in what you're interested in. Yeah. And you're learning new things and being able to apply new techniques. That's where joy comes in. Like, how cool is it to make money and have joy at the same time? Yeah. Come on now. Yeah. You know what? It makes you feel like you never work a day in your life.
That's it.
Right.
When you're passionate about something and you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
At all.
Right. So to that point, Sister Pelt, I want to share this with people. I know we should have been offline. I want to share this because a lot of people, like what I challenge the audience to do at the very beginning of this show is to give me ideas of what you could do to earn extra income. A lot of people, it was really a setup. Nobody really did it, but it was a setup because I wanted to see what types of ideas people threw out there, because oftentimes people will just come up with an idea simply because it makes money. And that's the wrong approach.
No.
You've got to go within and ask yourself, what is your passion? And build off of that.
Yeah.
Because what makes money for one person may not be good for you. What is good for one person to make money may not be good for you, right? We're in real estate. We can pump real estate and push real estate all day, every day. But the reality is that real estate is not for everybody, right? And for those of us who are truly passionate about it, we may think so. Oh, everybody should be in real estate, right? And that's not for everybody, right? Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. You know, I love it, but it's a hard game, especially while you're trying to work a full-time job. So it's not for everybody. So you got to dig within to find out, what is it that I love to do already? Or what is it that I already love to do or are already doing? And build upon that. I know Sister Pelt has been taking photographs as long as I've known her as Liberty. She's always had that camera in her hand. That's something that she loves to do, and takes beautiful photos. I've seen your photos online with the beautiful scenery, the flowers, the sunsets, and all of that. Beautiful. And yes, those could sell. Absolutely. So that's a passion of hers. So she can easily take that to the next level and the next level and the next level. Yeah, man.
Just find your passion.
Find your passion. Take it to the next level. Be the best at it. And that's why we keep taking the classes and going to the workshops and the boot camp, because we want to be the best at it, right? Being the best, last word, often only means providing the best value, providing the best service, serving people the best way you can, right? And if you think of your business that way, you are going to do well.
That's it.
All right, so we're traveling next week. So we will likely not be online live, but there's still so much that I want to share with you, like in terms of experiences in business that will help you if you so choose to take that route. What I may do if I have time, so don't hold me to it, I may do a pre-recorded session where I just go in on the nitty-gritty of entrepreneurship. All this stuff you see on this whiteboard, it actually has meaning and purpose. And you're gonna feel I know y'all probably be looking, why they got that whiteboard behind them with all that stuff on there. I may break that down and tell you this is what you need if you're going into business. We got taxes due over here. We got vision and purpose over here. We got ministry over here. Look, it takes all of that. And yes, ministry is part of our business.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
You know what I'm saying? So listen, I think we should do that before we, at some point, let's give them 30 minutes of pre-recorded message, and we're gonna schedule it to where it comes out at the same time, 7:30.
All right, be on the lookout for him.
Yeah, she leaving me on my own on this one.
Yeah,
because this is my passion.
This is his passion. Yep, you got it.
This is my passion. All right, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate y'all for jumping on and staying on.
Yeah.
And again, we look forward to connecting with you live the following Tuesday. But be on the lookout for next Tuesday for a pre-recorded message where I go in deep on
increase.
Yeah, increase. There we go.
All right.
All right.
Good night,
and,
everybody.
ladies and gentlemen, we thank you. We love you. And good night.